Emma Jade is in downtown Phoenix this morning with some stories she just learned about her family. Emma.
Hey, Faye. Yeah, that's right. I'm at Wesley Boland Memorial Plaza, where it was right here. I teamed up with the researchers behind that show. You know what's called Who Do You Think You Are? Well, the researchers are from Ancestry.com, and they discovered stories about my grandfather and his brothers that I never knew. Stories about the Korean War, about World War II that have just been lost over generations. But now, they're stories I'll never forget. These names no longer just letters on a 1940 U.S. Census. I learned my great-uncle William served as an airman first class in the U.S. Air Force and served in the Korean War. Great-uncle George was private first class in the U.S. Army in World War II and in the Korean War. And Sweet Thomas, my grandfather, was a staff sergeant in the U.S. Air Force for 6 years and served in the Korean War. Their older brother, Peter, set the example and served in World War II.
So Peter sat down and was interviewed by a fellow Marine later in life. And so this is him talking about his experiences in the Pacific during World War II. So I'll have you go ahead and read that.
So he landed on Iwo Jima on a Higgins boat in the 5th wave, Yellow Beach, and debarking at the beachhead. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to get through it. Taking position right below the airfield. Then the Higgins boat went up in an explosion minutes after they got off. He had grabbed 4 other Marines and led them to the beach, and in the chaos had forgotten his pack on a Jeep that was on the boat. Just as he stood to go back to retrieve it, the boat was hit, throwing the Jeep 20 to 30 feet in the air and killing the others aboard. During the Battle of Iwo Jima, Peter manned a 105mm gun, but also served as an assistant cook. He managed to scrounge up the ingredients to make a bunch of donuts for the frontline boys. They were in such demand that the officers posted guards around his gun. Peter was one of the lucky ones to make it through the war without getting wounded.
His younger brothers, they admired him and they left him for that service and they followed his example.
And it's such an amazing example, especially for me, to hear these unbelievable stories of such courage, such bravery. I remember I would try and talk to my grandpa about the Korean War and when he served, but he never would really talk about it because just to him, it just was something that they did. They went to war. They helped out their country. And you know what? You can now share those stories. Check out what Ancestry.com is doing just for Veterans Day. They're doing something called the Honor Wall, where basically you can post stories, you can post pictures, you can share stories with people across the entire globe of these amazing veterans. It's basically what they like to call Facebook for veterans. Really cool. Go check it out. Ancestry.com is where you can find all that information. We know you all have stories. You posted them on our 12 News Facebook page. You can go read some of our local Arizona stories there. But Doug and Faye, it's such a special day, and even more special for me because now I know this history. Now I know these amazing stories, and I almost feel like I've done my family an injustice by not knowing them before.
You know, Emma, your story, like so many other stories out there, I was just flipping through our 12 News Facebook page, because if you do have family photos of veterans who've served in your family, we're asking you to share them, and there are just some great pictures coming in.
I remember my dad was Korea, and he never talked about it either. He had his jacket, his Eisenhower jacket that he had, but he never talked about it in his time over there. But what I remember is the jacket being so small, because he was only 18 or 19 years old at the time, and he was, you know, hadn't grown into a full man yet, which was kind of neat. All right, Emma, good stuff out there. Thank you very much for sharing your family story. 4:48 your time right now. There's no nuclear deal with Iran.